This is another weather update. We're forecasting our next big storm, Winter Storm Oaklee, for mid to late week. All the details you need to know on the big storm in this video. Okay, so before we get started into this video, looking here at the European model Wednesday at 10 a.m., I'm going to say we're not going to be able to see my face today because we were having technical issues. Just wanted to say that, but I think we can do without for this update. So you can see here, on Wednesday, midday, we see that ice and snow moving into Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, northern Texas, mainly north of Dallas. In Dallas, you could see a little bit of ice mixing in there, but certainly probably going to be a mainly rain event with this first wave of Winter Storm Oaklee. Then, as we go into, say, 4, 5 p.m. here in St. Louis, we are going to be seeing that snow come in. Maybe a quick burst of snow according to the European model. But then as we go into, let's say, 8 p.m., we do see that ice start to move in and that snow maybe mixing in there in St. Louis. But for right now, the European model is saying mostly an ice event, mostly an ice storm for St. Louis. So as that first wave of Winter Storm Oaklee gets out of the way there in St. Louis Thursday early morning, we do see another wave of Winter Storm Oaklee start to develop, affecting pretty much the same areas with that ice and pretty much the same areas with that rain too. So we also got to watch for that flooding risk. Again, I'll get into all the details as we go further into this video on that flooding risk. But still, mostly ice with the second wave, and then maybe some snow, light snow, maybe some isolated moderate snow on the backside there of the storm, and that's where we'll get our little accumulations according to the European model. But there is a lot of model madness, I'd say, a lot of disagreement between the two models. And then as we look here at the European model, that snow and ice does go into the northeast. But again, like I was saying, there is a lot of model disagreement, so we're just going to have to wait and see how these models pan out. And see how these models keep forecasting in the future model runs. I'll keep you updated on all that as the storm starts heading our way. But here's the European model forecast for snow totals, and on the lower side, on the conservative side of some of the other models, what some of the other models are saying. So we got around 5 to 8 inches here in southern Missouri, central Missouri. We could see a swath of 4 or 5 up to 6, maybe some isolated spots of 7 to 8 inches. Then as you go into Cleveland, we could be seeing that snow, and then pretty big snow threat here in the northeast. But I'll keep you updated on that as we go into future updates. But for St. Louis, mostly south of St. Louis and St. Louis downtown, so University City, Clayton, Ladue, St. Charles County, mostly 1 to maybe 4 inches as you go into an area like St. Charles County, Troy, Missouri. But as you go into Bowling Green, we could see those higher totals. But then as we look here at the GFS model for those snow totals, the GFS model has something pretty different. Again, usually, like I say in a lot of my updates, the GFS model is on the higher side, and I think it is. I am leaning a little bit farther towards the European model because I don't know about the GFS model. It is a very sharp cutoff. It's going to be a very tricky and messy forecast here because we do have a sharp cutoff according to the GFS model, 6, maybe up to 7 inches here in St. Louis. Again, if you're watching this video, don't keep this image in your mind. Like I said in the other update, this is going to change since we have a lot of model disagreement. This would probably not be the model that happens because I am leaning a little bit farther towards the European model. But if we get a mix between the European model and the GFS model, I think that's where I'll sit. That's where I think the best forecast would be if we get a mix between the European model and the GFS model. I think that would be the best forecast, but around 6, maybe 7, 8 inches as you go into Bowling Green. But then in Farmington, let's say St. Genevieve, 1 to 3 inches. So a very sharp cutoff from maybe 10, 7, 8 inches there, and then 1 to 3 inches. So we really got to watch where that cutoff of the snow totals is going to be, and that's what's making this such a hard forecast. But then, according to the GFS model, as you go into central Illinois, you got a pretty wide swath of around 5 to 8, maybe 8 to 12 inches as you go into Indiana and northern Ohio. And then last but not least, we're going to be looking here at the flooding risk, the severe weather risk and the ice risk here. First, let's look at the flooding risk. We got those yellows, which is meaning up to 5, maybe isolated spots of seeing 6 inches of rain. This is going to be a big threat, maybe turning out to be the biggest threat with Winter Storm Nancy and Winter Storm Oaklee, these 2 big storms, is going to be that flooding threat. We're going to be having a lot of rain training over the same places with both of the storms. So especially in those mountainous regions of, let's say, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, we're expecting those flood-prone areas to probably have some problems with up to 3, maybe 4 inches there in eastern Kentucky. So we got to watch for that flooding risk, severe flooding risk. But I'm mainly concerned for Kentucky and Tennessee with that big flooding risk with some isolated spots getting up to 6 inches. We're going to be seeing that severe flooding. So if you're in this red area or purple area, just know that there's going to be some flooding and start getting prepared if you are in a flood-prone area. Then, as we look here at the severe weather, this is the severe weather for today, along with Winter Storm Nancy. We've got a slight risk for Springfield, Tulsa, northern and western Arkansas, parts of the Boot Hill, Missouri, southern Missouri. This includes Wichita Falls, Texas, northern Texas, and eastern Oklahoma, and this includes Norman and Tulsa. So we do have a slight risk of severe weather today. We do have a 5% chance of tornadoes, not the biggest chance of tornadoes, but there could be an isolated tornado here or there, so don't let your guard down on that if you're in that brown or even in that 2% area. There could still be some tornadoes. And then with the wind threat, we do have a 15% chance, and the hail threat also 15% chance. We could see some pretty damaging hail with this storm. And then for Tuesday, we also do have a slight chance of severe weather. This includes Memphis, Jackson, Tennessee, Nashville, Bowling Green, southern Tennessee, southern Indiana, southeastern Missouri, including the Boot Hill, Missouri, eastern Arkansas, central Mississippi, western Alabama, northern Mississippi, and eastern Louisiana is where we're going to be expecting that slight risk of severe weather. We also do have a 5% chance of tornadoes. So again, don't let your guard down. There could be some isolated tornadoes in this line of storms. And then again, a 15% chance wind threat, and a 15% chance hail threat. And then lastly, we're going to be looking here at the ice threat. And this is just the NAM model. This ice up here is going to be from Winter Storm Winter Storm Nancy. You could see a pretty rough morning commute in an area like Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin, with that ice threat, especially in the northern areas of Michigan. And then for Winter Storm Oaklee, we do have a pretty big ice threat for the Ohio River Valley. Same areas that got hit by Winter Storm Landon, we could see those areas getting hit again with some heavy, damaging, maybe even crippling ice. Again, we're a few days out. We'll get the forecast nailed down as we go into the future. But Texas, northern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, and northern Arkansas, we are expecting that big ice threat. And this also includes the east. So as we go into further updates, as I keep updating you guys, as I keep covering Winter Storm Oaklee, I'll get into what the east is going to be expecting. So that's your latest weather update on Winter Storm Oaklee. Subscribe, go follow me on Twitter for the latest updates, and I'll keep you updated on this big winter storm. So I'll see you in the next weather update.